It really does give us a feeling of euphoria, a feeling of connection to God. Again, this is part of growing and expanding my own mental capacity. The biggest need that we have as human beings is to be seen. Strengthening intimacy. And so when we look at intimacy, I love, I used to work with Deepak Chopra years ago, and he would always break down intimacy as an into me I see. And so one of the things that differentiates a romantic relationship from every other relationship is you really get a deep dive into the soul, into the cells of your partner. And a true intimate connection is when you are open and vulnerable enough to let someone that deep in and to see you kind of that naked. And it really does give us a feeling of euphoria, a feeling of connection to God. And it's not, something to be taken lightly, because I believe that the biggest need that we have as human beings is to be seen. And so many people live in these lives of quiet desperation. They're not seen, they're not understood. And here you have an opportunity to connect with a lover, with a partner, and experience, sorry to be so religious, or, esoteric, but you get to experience God, because you're fully open to someone who is not going to judge you, who's not going to beat you up, who's not going to attack you. And so that becomes even more important as you grow closer together, that you preserve the sacredness of your relationship, that you're 100%, you take care of each other, that your partner's security, safety, feeling of kind of this nakedness is not taken for granted, number one, and is never used to hurt them. Matthew Hussey, who's a relationship coach, shared this, and I have my own feelings about it, but it does on one level give a really great definition of love. And he said, one definition, he said the best definition of love he's ever heard is giving someone the power to destroy you, knowing they never will. Because you're so open and you're so vulnerable that, yes, in the wrong hands, someone can absolutely destroy you. But you have this trust and knowingness that the other person won't destroy you. And so comes a lot of responsibility, because you're coming into this relationship with that promise that I will never destroy you. I'm going to create the safe space for you. So that, in a whole high level, that's kind of the definition of intimacy that I'm coming in with in this space. And so there's different types of intimacy. There's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. I'll talk about physical last, but spiritual is where we really open up with our partner, open up to our partner about our beliefs, about our values, about what's important to us, about our connection to God, the universe. And it's really letting someone into our inner world, into that place of kind of looking at what's beyond the physical. Like, what am I connected to that's bigger than myself? And being able to share kind of what your beliefs are, what your values are, what you're connected to, what your purpose is, what you hold true to your life, what you come in with as far as a definition to the meaning of life, like why are we in existence, and being willing to share that, with each other. Those deep, it's what are those things you wonder or think about or afraid of in the middle of the night when there's no one there? Because that's true spirituality, right? It's we come into this world alone and we leave out of this world alone. And so what is this thing that we're connected to when we are alone? And so part of spiritual intimacy is understanding and exploring together what's deeper than this physical existence. So that's one level. Mental intimacy is willing to learn about things, talk about topics. I don't recommend, I mean, everyone's different. Some people may love to talk about politics, and maybe that's your thing. But I mean, just being willing to talk about things in a way that challenges each other and allows each other to learn and to grow. So with mental intimacy, it's, what are you learning? What are you reading? What do you think about this documentary that we just watched? So again, growing together. And, statistics are pretty staggering where it shows that most adults will never ever pick up a book after they graduate from school. And so the learning stops. And so being willing to learn and to grow together and to share, your thoughts. And again, nobody's going to be 100% on the same page. And that was one of the downfall during COVID is there was so much ugliness that came out because people disagreed. And, historically, disagreement is how we learned, how we grow, how we experience more of how I got to really, really dive into my beliefs, what I think, because I'm not forced, but I'm having to verbalize my thoughts and then hearing another view. And so again, this is part of growing and expanding my own mental capacity is to be able to share with a partner and explore and challenge each other. What do you think about this? What do you think about that?